Post the colors. Post. Recover.
If you all
present arms. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Left, peace. Forward, march. Left.
You see by the dawn's lonely light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, and the rampart we watch was so gallantly streaming. O God, our hope and refuge, in our distress we come quickly to you. Shock and horror of that tragic day have subsided, replaced now by an emptiness and a longing for innocence lost. We come remembering those who lost their lives in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania, as well as all of those who lost their lives from all over the country who've come to serve their fellow man. We're mindful of the sacrifice of our public services, who demonstrated the greatest love of all by laying down their lives for their friends. We commit their souls to your eternal care, and we celebrate their gifts to a fallen humanity. We come remembering, and we come in hope, not in ourselves, but in you, Yahweh. As foundations we once thought secure have been shaken, we are reminded of the illusion of security. In commemorating this tragedy, we give thanks for your presence in our time of need, and we seek to worship you in spirit and in truth, our guide and our guardian. Amen. And now I'd like to introduce Mayor McLeod to come and greet you.
I want to thank all of you for coming as the Hoffman Estates Memorial Veterans Commission presents what it means to never forget. Patriot Day 9/11. Those of us who were of a certain age can certainly remember the horrific events of that day, a day we didn't think would happen. People went to work in New York City, much like a day like today, a nice sunny day. Didn't know that that was the last day, that they would be alive. Many of them never got to go home. Remember the brave firefighters and police who sacrificed their lives to save people, and their colleagues and friends and families who lived through the horror of that day, it's our obligation to never forget what happened then. And I appreciate you folks coming out today to show that, yes, you do remember. And I see we have veterans in the crowd. We appreciate all your service. We appreciate everybody who's serving, has served, and will serve in the future. We're very fortunate to live in a country where we have such freedom and such ability to make our own way in the world. I want to thank the Hoffman Estates Fire Department and Police Department Honor Guard. I want to thank the Salvation Army Ensemble with sincere gratitude to them, the North Central Eastern Division Band, Central Territory Headquarters, their Symphony Band, which is headquartered here in Hoffman Estates, our chaplain Cheryl Novus, and our speakers today, Police Department Officer Michael Kane, Fire Department Taylor McIntyre, Major Michelle Hoover, talking about the local impact, the bell ceremony, which is always very moving, done by our fire department, and Cheryl Novus, and all of you very much for coming here. We need to remember this day just as we need to remember the Pearl Harbors, the D-Days, and all those who sacrificed so we could live in this great country. I want to thank the village board members and the clerk for coming, Karen Mills, and Anna Newell, Gary Palafis, Gary Stanton, Karen Arnett, Pat Canane, and our village clerk Patty Richter. We're also honored to have our state representative Michelle Mussman here today. So again, thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Michael Kay of the Hoffman Estates Police Department. Michael?
Thank you all for allowing me to speak with you on the 24th anniversary of the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil. My name is Officer Michael J. Kay of the Hoffman Estates Police Department. I'm also a retiree of the United States Army after serving 29 years on active duty in the reserves. I served 3 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and 3 tours in South Korea and Italy as well. And I have been with the Village of the Hoffman Estates Police Department for the past 12 years. So the global war on terror has affected myself, my family, and the members of the Hoffman Estates Police Department. We all remember what we were doing or where we were on September 11, 2001, when we first received news of the terrorist attacks. On that day, we witnessed acts of heroism from first responders, military members, and civilians. First responders, military members, and government officials swear an oath and promise to protect and defend our country, state, and community. On September 11, 2001, we witnessed this dedication and heroism. As a first responder, it's extremely important for us to remember those sacrifices. Even though these attacks occurred over 800 miles away, they had an impact on every community throughout the United States. 19 cowardly terrorists conducted these attacks, which took the lives of 2,977 people. A little over 400 first responders lost their lives that day, attempting to save as many civilians as they possibly could. It is even more important today than ever that citizens understand that no matter the danger a first responder may face, we have promised to help and protect the people we serve. 24 years later, this concept of saving lives during very dangerous situations still rings true. It is unfortunate in the United States that there has been way too many events like mass shooting and violent actions. Every time one of these incidents occurs, it is the first responders that are running towards this gunfire. 9/11 was a highly publicized display of how our profession reacts. As communities, we have hardened our vulnerabilities and increased our oversight. On a national level, law enforcement as well as the intel agencies have better lines of communication to share information in real time. It is important for our community to understand that the government and our police department will do all that is in our power to prevent another attack. However, it is up to each citizen that can make the difference. By staying vigilant and reporting suspicious behavior, a future attack may just be prevented. This is what embodies the Department of Homeland Security's campaign of See Something, Say Something. Terrorist organizations underestimate the results of their attacks in the United States. Our country was forged by the determination of the citizenry to literally fight for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When confronted by organizations that threaten our foundation, we as a nation will come together despite any differences and resist those who threaten our freedoms. In conclusion, serving our country as a U.S. Army soldier, non-commissioned officer, commissioned officer, and police officer has been some of the greatest honors of my life. The magnitude of responsibility, duty, and honor that befalls each soldier and police officer cannot be fully comprehended. And serving as a Hoffman Estates police officer has been a tremendous honor. We all stand here today to honor all those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. It will be a must never forget and be honored every day. Thank you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Officer Kay, for your very poignant remarks. Next, we'll hear from Taylor McIntyre, a firefighter paramedic with the Hoffman Estates Fire Department.
Like the mayor said, my name's Taylor McIntyre. I've been with the fire department about 12 years now. I feel like when you start a 9/11 Remembrance speech, you need to say where you were when it happened and what you remember. It is one of the few events in history that we all can locate where we were. I was actually driving to my AP Psych class my senior year, heard it on the radio, watched it all day, and then I'm from Iowa, so we'll lead with that. But I saw the only planes in the sky overhead that night with 2 F-16s and Air Force One, and that kind of opened my eyes to what public service was and what true sacrifice meant. When I was asked by Chief and Admin to come up and speak today, I was like, how hard is it to write a speech about something that's 24 years old, that has been written about millions of times, trillions of words, by people that are a lot better at this than I am. So I might have taken a little different approach, but I hope at the end of the day you guys take a little something away. Today we pause to remember a day that forever changed us. 24 years ago on September 11th, 2001, our world shifted. We witnessed unimaginable loss. We grieved for lives taken too soon, from the innocent passengers to the dedicated first responders to the everyday heroes that ran towards danger to save others. Their sacrifice was not in vain, and it shouldn't be forgotten and won't ever be. But amid the smoke and sorrow, something remarkable happened. We, as a country, came together. In the face of terror, we didn't let hate win. We didn't let fear divide us. We held each other a little tighter. We helped strangers. We stood in line to give blood, to donate services and money, and to serve our communities. We raised flags on porches. We wore pins on our jackets and looked into the eyes of our neighbors with caring and compassion. Regardless of their background, their faith, or their politics, we all were reminded that we are all Americans together. That spirit, that unity, is the greatest tribute we can offer to those that were lost that day. But today, current climate, we face a different kind of test. Not one from outside, but one from within. We currently live in divisive times. We scroll through news feeds that pull us apart. We argue more than we listen. We see each other not as neighbors, but as components. And in that, we risk losing the very unity that carried us through our darkest hour. So let today be more than a remembrance. Let it be a challenge. If we truly want to honor those who gave their lives on 9/11, in the towers, the Pentagon, and Flight 93, let us honor them by the way we treat each other now. Be kind to each other. Reach out to those in need. Listen more. Help someone who's struggling, and more importantly, forgive each other. Remember that disagreement is not division, that compassion is not weakness, that our strength has always come from standing together. Because the truth is, we will always be the strongest when we are united. We are still at our best when we rise above what divides us and we move forward side by side. Let this anniversary not only mark what we lost, but remind us what we found. Each other, neighbors, in unity. Please let that be the legacy that we carry forward. Thank you. May God bless those we lost, their families, and this great nation we share.
First, we'll have Major Michelle Heaver of the Salvation Army speak before we have the bell ceremony.
As it was already mentioned, many of us remember where we were and what we were doing on September 11th. I was in my office with my staff in the midst of a staff meeting, and when I heard that the plane had crashed into the first tower, I thought, that's a mistake. That's a freak accident. But when the second one happened, we knew it wasn't a freak accident. And it's great today to be able to stop and pause and to honor and recognize and remember the many, many firefighters, first responders, police officers who courageously ran into buildings and went to the aid of those who had been affected by this tragedy in Pennsylvania and in New York and in Washington. And I was proud of the fact that the Salvation Army just immediately sprung into action. During that time, many Salvation Army officers and staff and volunteers were deployed to assist the first responders and those affected by this horrendous tragedy with hydration and meals and comfort and whatever they needed. And my late husband was deployed to Ground Zero to serve as a chaplain. He was honored to be able to walk alongside first responders, to be a listening ear and a comfort, and to shed tears with them and perhaps even pray with them. But we also know that since 9/11, many have been affected with illnesses related to that day and to their response. Many, many people have lost their lives due to their heroic activities in helping those in need. In 2019, my husband became ill. He had been deployed there for just 10 days, and he became ill in 2019 and was eventually diagnosed with a terminal illness due to exposure at 9/11. And 23 days later, he lost his life. So my life and my kids' life and many others were greatly affected beyond that day of 2011, and many, many others can say the same story and are so doing so today. Would he do it again? Absolutely. Knowing what he went into, because his passion was helping those who served others. His passion was serving a cup of coffee and serving a meal and listening and being a listening ear and providing whatever service he could to those in need. And again, it's great that we can take a moment today to just pause and reflect upon those who lost their lives and who served others in times of need. And we thank each and every one who served in that day and the days ahead, the days moving forward. And I thank you for this opportunity to come and to share.
Thank you, Major, for your moving words. Now we'll have the fire department do the bell ceremony. Gentlemen, ladies.
We now come to the time where we ring the bell in recognition, remembrance, and admiration of those who lost their lives on 9/11 and in the days, months, and years afterward. The bell ceremony is a long-standing fire service tradition, but we are most honored to extend the tradition and its meaning to our fellow responders in law enforcement and the military, as well as to the thousands of civilians who paid the ultimate sacrifice due to the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. The emergency services of today are ever-changing, but it is important for our members to honor the traditions that mean so much and that lead our responders to prioritize service to the public. One such tradition is the sounding of the bell. In the past, as firefighters began their tours of duty, it was the bell that signaled the beginning of each day's shift. Throughout the day and night, each alarm was sounded by the bell, which summoned these brave souls to fight fires, to make rescues, and to place their lives in jeopardy for the good of their fellow citizens. And when the fire was out and the alarm had come to an end, it was the bell that signaled to all the completion of that call. When a firefighter died in the line of duty, paying the supreme sacrifice, it was the mournful toll of the bell that solemnly announced a comrade's passing. We continue these traditions as symbols to reflect honor and respect for those who have given so much and who have served so well. To recognize the devotion that the courageous 9/11 responders had for their duty, we sound a special signal of a somber 3 rings, 3 times each, to represent the end of our comrades' duties and that they have returned to their home quarters. And we extend this honor to the memories of all who were lost on and after 9/11. And so, as we remember those victims of 9/11, 2001, including those public servants who selflessly gave their lives trying to save their fellow men and women, we sound the last alarm to signify that they have gone home. May they rest in peace.
Yahweh, thank you for our shared time together as we pause to remember the great losses and courageous acts of September 11. We lift up those who are still affected, families of victims, police officers, firemen, first responders, Salvation Army responders, all who were involved. We ask that your light flood the hearts and the people everywhere, flood through. You desire to redeem your creation. We trust that the beauty will continue to come from the ashes of those dark days. As Elizabeth Gray penned, I would never want another 9/11, but I miss America of 9/12. Stores ran out of flags to sell because they were being flown everywhere. People were Americans before they were upper class, lower class, Jewish, Christian, Republican, Democrat. We hugged people without caring if they ate Chick-fil-A or wore Nikes. On 9/12, what mattered more was what united us rather than what divided us. Surround us with your mighty angels of protection. Give us compassion for one another in all of life's circumstances, and instill in us the courage to answer your call. Post in our hearts to remember 9/11, but to live like 9/12. Amen. Mayor?
Thank you, Chaplain Novus, for your moving words, and thanks to the fire department for the bell ringing. End of watch ceremonies are always particularly moving. As was noted by several of our speakers, we were all Americans after this attack took place, and we need to recapture that spirit. Remember, we had a giant rally at Hoffman Estates High School, and we had people from all races, religion, ethnic groups, nationalities, all came together because they were all Americans. Foreign-born, native-born, it didn't matter. We were all Americans and we stood together. We need to get that kind of spirit back. So again, I want to thank you all for coming. Can everybody please rise if you can while the honor guard retires the flag?
Detail. Halt. Left. Please. Reset. Arms. Order. Arms. Prepare to retrieve the colors. Retreat! Left! Peace! Forward! March! Left!
Thank you all again for coming. We have to vow to never forget this day. We have to teach the young people about it, the significance of it, just as we've taught others about Pearl Harbor and the First World War and the Civil War and every conflict this country has been involved in. Again, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.